Today's Tech Time Tuesday, we're going to be talking about the Kelderman air ride on the back of the Sprinter 3500 chassis, some of its benefits, some of its challenges, and what we can do to help it out.
Tech Time Tuesday.
Today in the shop, we got a 2024 Grech Sprinter 3500. This is an all-wheel drive Sprinter, and this is a very nice van. So this would be a Class B. And I got to take it for a spin with the customer, and very impressive fit and finish on it. Grech definitely builds a nice coach. What's unique about these Grech Sprinters is that they have air ride in the back. So this uses a Kelderman air ride suspension. And I've seen these before, but hadn't gotten the chance to drive one. So I got to take it over our standard test course with the customer, and let me tell you, the ride quality is very impressive on this. But there are some aspects of it that give it a little bit more sway and movement than what we would prefer. So let's take a look underneath it, talk about some of those aspects of it, and what we're doing to improve upon that. All right, so here you can see the basic premise of the Kelderman system. So you've got this beam with your airbags, and these airbags are essentially in series with your leaf springs. So you'll notice on either side, this coach still has its leaf springs. So this does not eliminate the leaf springs, but what it does do is essentially right here, you can see where previously you would have had the shackle just go right up to the hanger there for your spring. And then all your suspension would just be on the leaf spring. Instead, we've got this whole assembly basically in between the spring and where it attaches to the frame. So these bags can compress and provide for a lower spring rate as opposed to what the leaf spring suspension itself does. And in practice, I'm really impressed with the ride. It's a really nice riding coach. Really does take the speed bumps pretty nicely too. So you can definitely feel that it's more supple. You've got more give in the back. It did make for just a nice driving experience. What we did notice is there was a little bit more sway to it. So just changing lanes, that kind of thing, there's just a bit more movement. And that was one of the complaints of the customer, that he was getting blown around by the wind. Now, one thing we found just coming in is that these bags were actually deflated. There's an issue that we're working through that was preventing the airbags from inflating. So we think that was a big portion of his problem, is the fact that basically it was just resting on these, but the airbags weren't really providing any support other than just the bumper within them. So I think he's gonna notice, just even from that, an improvement on the stability. But there's a few other things about it that do lead to a bit more sway as well. So these two airbags, they are plumbed together. So you've got your line coming out of the bag here that goes across and connects to the other one. They do not have individual ride height pressure control. So what that means is if you push down on one side, that air is going to tend to be forced over to the other side. So that can actually amplify sway to some extent, because that air basically is kind of getting squished from one side to the other. So one thing that we can do to control that is our motion control unit. So you've probably heard us talk about our MCUs, motion control units for the air ride diesel coaches. Well, we can also do them on setups like this. These are SSE 4065 quick acting MCUs. So these are as restrictive of a metered orifice as what we have on these. So really designed to control and slow down that side-to-side flow of air, just to really cut down on the sway right at its source in this air suspension while still maintaining that nice spring rate and good ride quality. So then moving forward, you'll see basically the same front end as what we would have, same rear suspension as what we would have on just a standard Sprinter 3500. So we've got our SS701 rear track bar, which that controls our lateral motion in the rear axle. And I'm excited that we could add that on this setup, because you do have a lot more linkage here that theoretically all of that is going to have some flex, some give in it on top of what the springs, spring bushings, and the shackle hangers themselves do. So adding a bit more lateral control to that rear axle should really help it out in the crosswinds, passing trucks, push-pull, from passing trucks, that sort of thing. So that's our SS701 rear track bar. We've also got our SS110 heat-treated 1.5" rear anti-sway bar. So that replaced the 3/8" factory rear bar. That should really provide a lot more control, about 30% more strength compared to factory to cut down on that sway and rock and roll. And then finally, we've got the Koni 88-1879 manual adjust rear shocks. That's for the 4x4 3500 Sprinter rear suspension. And those are a direct fit in place of the factory rear shocks. Those provide much more rebound control. They are manually adjustable for rebound control, just like our SS88 1889s, but these are made specifically for the 4x4 chassis. We've adjusted those to about 75%, so that should really provide a lot more control of that rocking and rolling, of that sway when we're changing lanes, that kind of thing. And up front, all right, and up front here, we got the Koni 87-2667 manual adjust front struts. So those we run pretty firm. Those really do a great job of cutting down on the dive while cornering. So all of that in the back, coupled with those front Koni struts, are really going to transform the way this Grech drives. So really excited to get this thing on the road and go for a test drive. If you have a Grech Sprinter with a Kelderman rear air suspension, or any kind of Sprinter, any kind of motorhome at all, we're here to help you enjoy safer and happier driving. So please remember to like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.
Tech Time Tuesday.